Iranians mark the 47th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution with massive rallies in Tehran, projecting unity amid sanctions, economic strain and fears of conflict. India Today is the first and the only channel from India to witness this event. President Masoud Pezeshkian said Iran would not bow to foreign pressure, apologized for government shortcomings and insisted the country does not seek nuclear weapons. Here is a mega exclusive and a report from Mahashweta Lala.
Amid uncertainty, sanctions and fear of war looming large, Iranians came out in a show of solidarity on the 47th anniversary of Islamic Revolution. India Today is the only and the first Indian news channel to witness this huge gathering.
India Today group is only group is present in Tehran when the tension has been coming to that particular level, when a new war front is emerging on the world map, and we have been bringing you all the clear pictures from the ground zero.
This show of solidarity also comes following protests in recent months, after Iranian currency fell way below, making the economy of the sanctioned Islamic State weaker. In 1979, Iranian newspapers carried this front-page headline when Mohammad Reza Shah left the country, a moment that symbolized the end of monarchy and the birth of a new Islamic Republic. The demonstration is also seen as a stern reply to the United States and European nations that Iran continues to hold ground amid war threats.
See, right behind me, the masses have been coming on a large scale, especially this National Day comes just after a few days when we have seen videos from all across Iran, how the riots have happened, how the people, we have seen also how exactly things have been happening. But now it's basically a showing of strength by the Iranian authorities as well.
Our Iran will not bow to the excessive demands. Our Iran will not back down in the face of injustice and aggression. But we are in talks with neighboring countries with all our strength to promote peace and stability in the region.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, while addressing the crowd, said that the regime under the Ayatollah did not seek atomic bomb. He also apologized to the Iranians for the government's shortcomings and assured that the regime is doing everything to resolve the crisis faced by the people.
As the head of the government, I apologize to the noble people for the shortcomings that exist. Despite these shortcomings and deficiencies, we in the government are making every effort with all our strength to resolve all these problems firmly and resolutely. And by God's power and under the wise leadership of the Supreme Leader, we will do so.
Days after Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner in Oman and said it was a good start, President Donald Trump, during an interview, said Iran wanted to make a deal and it would be foolish if they did not work out one. The statement comes as a beautiful armada is on its way towards Iran. It is also significant as US forces in Qatar's Al Udeid, the biggest US base in the Middle East, put missiles into truck launchers. The decision to keep the Patriot missiles in mobile trucks rather than semi-static launcher stations, meaning they could rapidly deploy to strike or be moved defensively in the case of an Iranian attack.
As you know, we have a massive flotilla right now going over to Iran. We'll see what happens. I think they want to make a deal. I think they'd be foolish if they didn't. We took out their nuclear power last time, and we'll have to see if we take out more this time.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is in Washington and earlier said Iranian negotiations was the top agenda of his discussions, met Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Iran has insisted that it does not aim for building nuclear weapons of mass destruction, but use uranium enrichment for civilian purposes and for the interests of Iranians. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
This is an India Today Global Mega Exclusive. Sumit Chaudhary, my colleague, is in Tehran, the first Indian channel to be there. Sumit, thank you so much for joining us from the ground. What's the situation right now? We know that there were massive protests earlier, but it seems like things have really, in terms of protests, quelled.
Well, the situation on ground seems to be very normal and calm, but the reality is the government or the IRGC or the Supreme Leader Office have been working day and night, especially because of the continuous threat from the US President Donald Trump, and especially they also come to know that when the Israeli PM has been meeting the US President in Washington, that is a major concern for them. And today, when the National Day is celebrating all across Iranian country, that particular time we have seen they use this particular day just to showcase their solidarity, and especially a message to the US and the other Western countries that the people of the citizen of this country doesn't want any regime change.
Sumit, I was just going to ask you about that because, you know, Netanyahu is in Washington, D.C., like you rightly pointed out, and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, called on the Prime Minister. There was a meeting that took place. What are the concerns regarding the threat by Netanyahu that he would attack and go alone, even as he's meeting President Trump?
So the Iranian regime has taken this visit of Israeli PM on a very serious note. They already know that the Israel doesn't want any negotiation, any discussion between Iran and US, and that is why they have been focusing very seriously on this particular visit. They also claim that the Israel doesn't want this discussion to be held in a positive way. And the way the Israeli government have been negotiating with the US, that they doesn't want that the ballistic missile points should be excluded from all these negotiations and discussion. That is a major concern because Iran government has clearly mentioned that the only discussion with the Americans will be held on nuclear deal or nuclear programs, but nothing should be discussed, and nothing should be discussed on ballistic missile program and other economic sanction issues.
Right. Sumit, again, you know, are the people I see that you've gone into the streets of Tehran and you've met people too. Are the people really worried about an imminent attack? And what is the situation when it comes to supply of basic necessities, etc.? Because that was really scarce and has been scarce for a while now.
So there is a sense of worried in Iranian people, but they are also very sure about this, that nobody can interfere in their country. Because today when we spoke to many people, especially not only to the local people who are gathered for a National Day march, but also to these some of the few the top officials of IRGC, they clearly mentioned that nobody can interfere in the internal matter of their country. And that is the reason why people are worried, because they are already facing economic sanctions from very long period. But on the same time, they are very confident that they are handled, they are used to this, all these sanctions, they are used to all these conflict times in past also. So there are both. There's a mixed feeling in these local citizens of the Iran.
Right. Sumit, you're in Tehran at a very critical juncture. Keep tracking developments over there. We'll keep dipping into you every day for the time that you're there, and be safe. Thank you so much for joining us.